I am Randy Stanley, and I am the field operations manager. I was gonna quit college and ran across an old neighbor who was in the field, and he kind of told me if I was looking for a job to give him a call, so I did. I started at CSC. I actually was a subcontractor. I worked for a subcontractor doing the installs. And then that subcontractor went out of business during a install with CSC, and I just moved over to working with CSC. And I want to believe that was like 17 years ago. I think I'm in my 17th year. So my day-to-day here is scheduling our in-house main power. It's also coordinating with the subcontractors that are doing our sub work, and coordinate with all the project managers and the design guys on any kind of questions we have. I'm starting a new job next week, and we're trying to find the logistics because it's night work. What time can we start? Is there going to be a way to access the building, keys, cards, just the day-to-day of how we get in and how do we maneuver around the job. Just the amount of coordination that goes into filling the schedule for the following week. Pretty much talk to every one of my installers multiple times a week, but every Friday. And I also talk to all the project managers every Friday, just to make sure, do a once over, make sure all our jobs are covered for the following week. Not the same every time. It's always a different project, environment. It's just not cut and dry every day. There's just such a variety of what we do and where we do it that I would say is probably the best part about my job. Very much something that challenged me on the day-to-day is probably just workload, just managing the workload. Also managing the different personalities of everybody I deal with and work alongside, and even some of my own employees. Yeah. The technology has changed since I started. I believe we're on the third generation of controllers, so it's changed immensely. What we do and how we do it's pretty much the same, just the products we use to do it has changed. The advice I would give somebody considering a career, we have lots of different options to do here, and that are from my group, who's the installers, to the startup group. I think it's just ever changing. I mean, the way of the future, it's a way to save money. All these schools want to save money and do it. So I don't see us going away anytime soon. There's always an opportunity to get a better system and save money in the process. Just learn how to work hard. There's nothing that supplements hard work. I can teach anybody to do controls. I cannot teach somebody how to work hard. So.
I'm Stanley Chandler, and I'm the Director of Business Development here at Control Service Company. First job out of college was at Allied Signal, Bendix, Allied Signal, Honeywell. It was in 1984, just right out of college as an electrical engineer. So at the beginning of my career, I was in quality control. I always wanted to be in facilities or in construction. And I kept talking to the folks in the facilities group at Bendix. And eventually, like 6 years after I started, I got on there, so 1990-ish. I've always loved that piece of it. I love construction. I've loved everywhere from home building to big buildings. Just the built world was exciting to me. As part of that, there were just about every project we did there was very mechanical and very HVAC driven. So therefore there was building controls on that. Really started getting a feel for what that was. So like, what is this? It seems like magic. As part of that, all my buildings were using a product that I wanted to get replaced, which kind of introduced me to Control Service Company. In Lee Summit, the Lee Summit Data Center, they had web control set up there. I went over there and was just amazed by this product. John Crownhart came out and talked to me, looked at my building and what it would take to take that over. Loved him, loved the product. Actually ended up leaving there before they took the building over, or I converted the building to web control. Went to the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art and was the director of operations there. We're in the middle of building the block building and the whole kind of newer campus that you see there now. Ended up saving hundreds of thousands of dollars, convinced within 2 months after I started there, convinced the CEO of the company that we needed to change and made the change, and they're now a web control customer. So it's difficult really to me, to anyone I think, to understand exactly where you want to go. I mean, there's some things that, like I was electrical and really thought that was my world. It's much more mechanical now. So to figure that out, you just have to get in someplace. Get someplace, get in the trades, get in whatever excites you a little bit right now and see where that leads you. So you have to do to really figure out what you want to do. You just got to get in there and figure it out, and it will lead you places that you need to go. It's amazing where you end up. I ended up the best possible place I could end up. Knew it was the greatest product in the world. Didn't ever think I would be selling that product. John Crownhart kept talking to me over the years that you really ought to come work for me. Didn't know why he wanted that. Didn't know why he'd want me to be a salesperson. But after I got here, I figured it out quickly. My first sale was to Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I quickly figured out that what I had to do was I had to go to their CEO and say, here's some things you really need to do. Here's some cost savings and some energy savings that you will find as a result of doing this. So I was talking to the CEO about this. This is the same thing I did as a facilities director. I would go to my CEO and I'd say, we ought to do this because after I figured that out, it ended up being, maybe I am made to be a sales guy.
My name is Tyler Hill, and I am a design engineer with the company. I went to school at K-State for mechanical engineering. I wanted to be able to solve problems and help people in some way, have some kind of impact in the world. What that looked like when I was new in school as a freshman, I wasn't really sure. I just thought that it was really cool that there's ways that you can control a whole building and all the equipment in it from one central place. So I work to make prints for the field guys. I lay out the wiring diagrams so that they have a smoother installation process. And I try to make sure that all of it is cataloged nicely so that the customer can see what's in their building. And so that if we come back years later and work in that building again, then we'll be able to see what all's there. I've worked on a couple of hospitals, a couple of public buildings, a library, one prison. CSE is a really welcoming company in general. Everyone's really friendly and they've done a really good job onboarding me and making sure that I understand everything, and they also have been very friendly and just understanding that I don't know everything coming into it. So just being able to train me and understand that what you learn in college that is really helpful in a career is just being able to solve those hard problems, because that never really stops. So just stick with it. It's worth it. It's hard, but we'll get through it. With building automation in general, it's not always obvious to people that there is so many sophisticated systems inside a building. So when you walk into a big public building like a library or a school or something, the air conditioning just works and you don't really think about it. It all comes down to understanding the equipment that we're working with and what it takes to control it. And so on the engineering side, there's a lot of expertise that you wouldn't necessarily think, but just a lot of knowledge that comes from years of experience.
My name is Derek Gaddenby. I'm a project manager here at Control Service Company. What kind of drew me towards BAS was my first job out of college was working in the mainframe industry in data centers. So I did a lot of data center work. And when I got into the data center world, that's when I started seeing technicians on the BAS side of it and kind of getting a feel for that. And it interested me. I started out in the late 90s and again, like I said, it was in the data center world that I was working at, maintaining mainframes, doing all the technical aspects of it. I had no idea what BAS even was. Couldn't even tell you what the acronym meant. Never heard of it in my life. And it wasn't, like I said, until I started getting into the mainframe data center world setting that I started to run across people that were working in that field, and it interests me. Project management, so I have a lot of projects that I'm trying to kind of corral and keep moving forward. And my day-to-day is typically jumping in and immediately approaching my active projects and seeing where we're at, what issues I need to handle, where I need to send people at, crews, what meetings do I have pertaining to those projects. It's basically just keeping my projects moving forward and trying to resolve any issues that I see and trying to just, like I said, I'm hurting. I'm constantly, keeping everything here and moving forward. So that's financials, scheduling, solving problems before your crew even gets on site. There's a wealth of a ton of stuff that needs to happen in the background, right? So it's a lot of background noise and minutia that needs to be handled prior to anybody even looking at your project. Rapid pace of projects, the way they move. They seem to move a lot faster these days. Timelines are much tighter. You know, especially with the advent of technology today with AI rising, everybody's in a race to get a data center built or get power in here or whatever to make something happen to be ahead of their competitor. Working with team, working with customers, solving their problems, addressing their issues, and presenting solutions for them. So, be prepared to stay focused. It's a fast-moving pace industry. There's a lot of facets to it. Yeah, stay driven, stay focused, and I'd say that's about it. Yeah.